Safe management techniques. In this module, you will learn about safe management techniques. What this means is that when you work with residents, safe management techniques. In this module, you will learn about safe management techniques. What this means is that when you work with residents who behave in potentially dangerous ways, there are some effective things you can do to ensure their safety as well as your own. In this module, you will learn some of these techniques. It is common for a resident to become frustrated, depressed, angry, or resentful about physical or mental losses he or she may be experiencing. Medications the resident takes may also contribute to difficult behaviors. Resident may express these behaviors towards you directly or indirectly by not being cooperative in the care you provide. These behaviors may be distressing, simply annoying, or time-consuming, but they could have the potential to become unsafe if not managed correctly. In this module, you will identify behaviors that are potentially dangerous and what to do when they occur. You will learn about positive management techniques that protect the residents' health, safety, and well-being. The techniques in this module can be useful during difficult situations. How do you recognize signs of abuse and neglect? Unfortunately, we occasionally read about or hear news reports of abuse and neglect occurring in personal care homes. Residents may abuse one another, staff may abuse residents, or residents may abuse staff. By law, signs of abuse and neglect are to be reported. Therefore, you must become knowledgeable about this topic. Abuse can be physical or emotional. Some examples of abuse are pushing, hitting or shaking, pulling hair or ear, tying a resident to a bed or chair, locking a resident in a room, a staff engaging in any sexual contact with a resident, giving too much medicine on purpose, yelling at or threatening with words, harassing a person, using ethnic slurs, threatening to make a person leave the home. Another form of abuse is financial abuse. This involves taking property or money from a resident or encouraging a resident to hand over his or her assets. Residents have the right to protection of their money and property. Neglect is a failure to provide necessary care that results in harm to the resident. Some of the examples of neglect include leaving a group of aggressive or unsupervised residents, a direct care staff person falling asleep while on duty, delaying the normal scheduling of routine medical or dental visits for health maintenance, isolating a resident in their room, leaving a resident unattended by staff for a long period of time, failing to seek medical help when a resident shows symptoms of injury or illness, or if a resident complains of a pain. What should you do if you see abuse or neglect? You should ask your supervisor what the home's procedures are to report suspected abuse or neglect. It is not your responsibility to investigate or confirm the suspected abuse or neglect, only to report what you see. When reporting to your supervisor, It is important to be objective. State only what you see or hear, not your interpretation of what you see or what you assume is happening, which is very subjective information. In other words, just state the facts. You may also report suspected abuse or neglect to any of the following. Number one, you can report the suspected abuse to Department of Homeland Security. Their information is provided if you click below. You can report abuse to DHS complaint hotline. The phone number is given below. You can also report abuse to your area agency on aging office. What do you do when a resident's behavior becomes violent? When a resident is in crisis and out of control, your primary concern is safety. Your employer will provide you with specific techniques for handling violent behaviors. Violent behaviors is usually not planned and not under the resident's control. To help ensure everyone's safety, you should quickly remove other residents and staff person from the area, call for extra help when needed, try to get any potential weapons out of reach, get something such as table between you or aggressive residents. The time to learn how to handle violent behaviors is before anything happens, not well in the middle of it. If you work with residents who go into crisis, ask your employer to teach you specific techniques for handling violent situations. Resist the urge to control the situation. Trying to control an aggressive resident will only lead to more anger and danger. Some of the prohibited techniques are, in addition to needing to know the positive ways to reduce bad behaviors that endangers the resident or others, you need to be aware of activities that are not allowed. Some of the activities that are absolutely not allowed, they are locking a resident in a room, using loud noises to scare a resident, pushing or grabbing a resident, giving a resident medicine to make him or her quiet or sleepy, using something like pillow or tie to keep a resident from moving, holding a resident with your hand so that he or she cannot move. You cannot